I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video we're going to have a look at the Trustswap Launchpad and also how profitable is this Launchpad based on its previous launches, right? So we're going to review a minimum of 10 launches as we do with all the videos in this playlist. So if you're interested in launchpads, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and after this you might want to check out the other launchpad reviews in this playlist. We're going to have a look at Trustswap, a platform that I'm not involved with myself because there is some things you need to know about this platform. There's quite some information to cover, so let's get started. I'm in the Trustswap dashboard right now. Nothing in this video is financial advice, it is for entertainment purposes only. It requires staking. There is a multiplier, there are NFTs, there are airdrops, there are lottery tickets, lots of things to cover. Actually took me quite some research to understand the entire platform, but they have a lot of active launches and they have done over a triple dozen already, which we can obviously review. So let's look at the price first of this Trustswap. So the current price is $1.31. You can see throughout the timeline, it's been open for more than a year and a half already. There has been a huge spike which happened March, April this year, specifically probably because of a major launch happening on their launchpad specifically, and then it died out again back to the original level. What we often see with launchpads is that they're quite stable in price, and that basically goes the same for this launchpad. So it came from like 20 cents, then it had a good run to an all-time high of about $4.80, and right now it's on 131 again. Probably just had a major launch because the price came from about $2 just over 2 weeks ago. All right, so that's the price for Trustswap. I have an article right here which basically covers everything you need to know about the allocation, the swap score that you can gain. Basically, it's calculated by your daily average swap staked in a 60-day window. Only swap that has been staked makes you eligible for Launchpad allocations. Then in addition, you can get a ticket, which becomes a transferable NFT. So if you get allocation on your ticket, you can transfer this to any other wallet. So basically sell your allocation as well, which is a little strange, but they go over in detail how that works, and there are specific bounty programs and airdrops that can get you allocation as well. There is a KYC requirement, so US citizens are not allowed to participate. They are excluded, FYI. In order to stake, a previous article that I read on Trustswap mentioned a minimum staking requirement of 10,000 tokens. In the updated article that I have right here, that is no longer present. So it's not really clear, but I'm assuming with a price of about $1.31, they have removed that requirement to allow more access for more people on their platform. So you could see that the staking new pool, which I assume started in September, has some good traction, right? There's right now 47 million staked, which I think is a good amount if we look at the price, right? So we're talking more than $55 million staked, over 10,000 people staking wallets, staking their swap. Now, obviously, the more you stake, the more multiplier you get. And in that regard, you also have the allocation therefore. Well, they have a lot of different options here, but we're going to go to launchpads. One thing you have to be aware of is that they have 35 launches done total and 2 upcoming launches. There's one right here for Earn Guild, and there's one for Art Meta. They only show the top launchpads. So I was going to make this an easy video for me and just take this list, but we're not going to do that because these have the highest indication, highest profitability. So I did a little more research and I found the top Trustpad launchpad tokens by market cap. So these are the top launches that they did based on the market cap. Doesn't say anything about the profitability. And there's about 28 here. So we would be missing about 7 launches in total, but that's fine. So I will not use their own setup. I will specifically use the CoinMarketCap information and then research based on that. So in a scenario where we would need to get allocation, how much allocation would be normal. So it says minimum required stake 4,000 swap, right? So for Trustswap, the allocation, what we always want to know, right, is a minimum 4,000, right? Which basically brings you to the investment, with the minimum investment is 4,000 times 131, which is the current price. Brings you about $5,000. And for the entry level, I think that's quite expensive for a Launchpad as the minimum amount, right? If you would take into consideration that this will get you the lowest amount of lottery tickets, and that's not guaranteed allocation, that is for ticket allocation that you might win allocation for, right? So let me write down, that's still a lottery, which I'm not personally a fan of. I only participate in Launchpads with guaranteed allocation. I would bring obviously a lot more money than 5,000, but still, I think it's important to consider that this is not feasible for most people. In a scenario where I would say decent odds, you got to do this at least times, times 5, times 6. So then you're looking at an allocation of 26K. How much allocation would that give you? We don't know, right? That information is not available. I don't know anybody who is on the Trustswap platform at the moment, and they don't disclose that information on how much one ticket would exactly be worth. I assume it depends on the project, right? So we could even open up a project and see if they actually announce how much a token would give you, but I assume they don't, because most projects don't do that, right? They don't announce beforehand. No, they don't. So obviously that is unfortunate, but it's part of the process. So yes, I would assume for this platform it is high investment for low allocation, but they appear to have lots of launches, right? So I'm going to go to my Seedify overview. It's the one I did before. I'm going to grab these 10 projects, and then we're going to grab the returns and the return on all-time high as well. So we can't really do the returns that well, because obviously we don't have the investment amount that I did with when I reviewed Seedify. However, we're trying to make the best of it, right? And just calculate it based on the IDO amount. So the first project we're going to have a look at, and we're going to do 10 projects, is probably we're going to start off with the smaller market caps. So this is a project that did launch through Trustswap, and it did, I assume, not too long ago. Oh, well, it did a while ago. Okay. So this was around the 1st of April when that happened. So the price at that point was really high. So it was probably one of the more hyped launches. And it did open really high and then basically flatlined, almost dead, right? There's literally no volume almost every day. That's quite sad. That's not a good start. So if we go to the live pass, I can't even pull it up on Dex Tools. Let me see. Let me see if we can pull it up on the actual crypto rankings. Here it is. All right, that doesn't look good indeed. And there's no IDO information for this project either. Okay, so the changes, there's basically, I think the project is completely dead. So let's not focus on that solely. Let's go a little bit higher in the market cap in that case. Let's do Chain Games, because Chain Games is one they also listed, right? Okay, go into the ranking, Chain Games. Then we go to IDO, which is also not available. Let me just see. Normally we would be able to find some IDO information as well, but it appears they didn't collect it, but we can collect it ourselves. Chain Games IDO price. So a lot of websites tracking this, but they don't have the actual IDO price, which is unfortunate because that's something I would need in order to make the right calculations. All right. Well, for SaltChicks, I definitely do know because I was an investor in that myself. That's the Solana blockchain, Okay, so IDO, so this one is available, right? So we assume, so the all-time high was 13.19, so we're starting with Sol Chicks, 13.19, and the ROI base was 3.32 right now. Not too great yet, but we'll see. And we'll also have basically one dead project, right? Which was the one we looked up first. I don't even know what it's called anymore. Okay, then we got buying.com. See how that did. Can also not find that one. Very, very strange. Buying.com. It is still live though, but again, also very little volume. Launched quite a while ago already, but not on their list. Was it on their list? No, I don't think so. So the chain games was on their list. See, they marked it as well as a 0.01 initial price, all-time high. Okay, percentage, the current price 19 cents, so that's 19x. Okay, so if we take their information on chain games, we can do the chain games as well, because that's 19x. 19, and the all-time high, which we can just take from Trustswap, that's not a problem. Trustswap chain games, all-time high $1. All right, so that's like 100x. That's quite good. That's probably why they listed it in their top list. Yeah. All right, Verso. I've never even heard of all of these projects. It's Avalanche Blockchain. Verso, there we go. Again, no IDO information, very annoying. Verso, do they have it on their list? Yes. So 5 cents. Current price is just only a 2x and like a 6x. Verso, what else we have? I'm gonna take it from my own list and then verify it, because I don't want them to make the picks. I want to take the picks myself. Cell frame. Yep. No IDO information. Do they have it? Yes. 10 cents. So this is 10 and this is 71. So far it's looking quite good actually. Project 6. Well, let's just go one up. Yield app. It's not looking too bad for Trustswap. Just got to take into consideration the whole staking thing and everything, which I think is a little nightmare. 12 and, well, 11.96, 3.14, 3.14, 11.96. And this was yield app. Okay, next one. So there are profitable launches, definitely, but just not the most profitable ones that we've seen, you know. We've seen many crazy launches on this YouTube channel already, and these, I don't want to say are definitely not it, but they're definitely not as profitable as one may hope, right? Free, what's it called? No, it's not even on the list here. There's also freeway token. Freeway token IDO price. No, I can't really see the IDO price, but if we look at like the all time, so it has done some like huge spikes. Well, relatively, they're not that huge, but like 50% down. When did it launch? So probably it's like on a 10x right now. If this would be like, we assume that this is the IDO price, it's still on a 10x all-time high, going for about 24x. That's not bad, but with the small numbers, just a little bit difficult to see. I think, you know, we don't have huge spikes except this all-time high and this one, but other than that, the ROI stability is quite low, but at least they're all profitable, right? We had one dead project, which is not too shabby, I would say. But we're in the high market caps right now. So, and when I say high, it's still very fucking small, right? Let's take Opulus. 371. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, 150x and 74x. Okay, see, so in the higher market caps, does make sense though. If you go into the higher market caps, then these projects, if it would be starting low, you know, some projects IDO on a price of $1, right? So it doesn't really say anything, but it does make sense. If the market cap is higher, the potential is also higher. These things sometimes go hand in hand, you know. Let's see what we have here. 33, 11.46 for glitch. Okay, so these are the two highest. So then we'll also take one from the bottom again. Mobify. 3.8 cents. It's not there. Is it on their list? Modify. MobiPay. So they have a lot of similar names here, but it's not there. Let's see the chart itself. Oh, sheesh, that's bad. 53 cents all the way down to, well, I won't say that's like a dead projects or what, but the transaction volume is really low. Where is it listed? Uniswap and Gate. Not much trust in this one. Market cap also like under very small. So I would say like with this, because we don't have the information, another 0. It's gonna pull down the average, but it is what it is, you know. Grab the formula, put it at the bottom, see what we got. Okay, so the average ROI 13.29%. Not too great. Oh, sorry, my bad. Hang on. 13.29x, not 13.29%. And then 41x on the all-time high. So what you always have to take into consideration with these launchpads is the vesting, right? So the vesting is important. That's why we look at this column, the first one, for the current price and not at the best opportunity possible. How likely is it for you to sell your Trustswap assets at the highest opportunity possible? Unlikely, right? So things we have to take into consideration on Trustswap, right? So the minimum staking requirement, which is 4,000, right? Tokens, which is in US dollar value. Your investment is basically this, right? And your allocation, I don't know what the allocation would be, but assume it to be low, right? So I assume it would be less than $100. Therefore, if you would want to have some decent allocation, right, you probably have to do like these things like 4x, which basically means that you would have to invest about $21,000, 4x on the base, which I don't know how feasible that is. You know, I did a 5x here, but yeah, 4 or 5x, more than $20,000, which I think for most people is not feasible unless you're looking for a small allocation. However, the thing I want to sketch, in my opinion, because obviously I'm here to give my opinion on how profitable the Launchpad is. Yes, it is really profitable still, but it's really hit or miss in the projects. So usually we see some spikes on the projects and we see some lower performance on maybe 1 or 2. Here is like 1, 2, 3 out of 10 low performance and only 1 really held the high performance, right? Which is still a good pattern. I mean, still highly profitable with an average of 13x. So if you would participate in this, in my opinion, it's still really, really profitable, just not the best we've seen, right? There are other launchpads that have a better track record. Obviously, they're going to be posting here like all their best launches, right? So when we look at here, we're having like an 18x, 27x, 73x so far, 10x, right? Makes sense, 8x, 7x, but it also goes down. Oh, I didn't even notice that before. So this is the best one, and then it goes down. Okay, so this one is barely profitable, right? And when I say barely profitable, it depends on how many tokens you have. But on launches, we usually say I would be happy with like a 2 to 3x on most launches, if that's consistent, right? And Trustswap is doing 13x consistent, which basically would make it a profitable launchpad, right? That's what we came here to find out, and that's what we did. However, an investor with my situation, I'm looking for like a $200 to $500 allocation. That would make me happy. So if I could get 100, that's also fine, but 200 to 500 would primarily make me happy, guaranteed, that is, right? I don't want to play lottery. I don't want to buy allocation. So they said like, the swap score, and the more score you get, and you need to build it up, blah, 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 blah. Which is not something I generally do, because I don't really want to be committed that long to one platform. Specifically staking, I usually hardly ever do myself. And then it say we will be using OpenSea to transfer NFT tickets, right? Which I think is really, really interesting. I'm really curious to see how that goes for specifically NFT tickets. If we would look at like regular allocations, I think when I typed in like Trustswap Launchpad tiers, it said like the minimum required amount. Okay, Trustpad provides opportunity to stakers at least 4,000 or earn 2,500 swap score over a 60-day rolling period. So they either require you to have a large amount of tokens or get that score up with all the things listed in the Medium article I showed you before, which you can just pull up yourself on Medium. One thing I am quite curious about, which I haven't explored to be fair, is the OpenSea information, right? So they mentioned that on OpenSea you could have vesting NFTs, which if you could buy allocation, depending on obviously how much it costs, that would be quite interesting, right? So if we go to OpenSea and we look for Trustswap, is there anything we could buy? One item? No. There are no collections under Trustswap. So if we do Trustswap NFT, swappable. But I think that's just an IDO that they're hosting. Yeah, that's not specifically what we're looking for here, but maybe these things still have to be rolled out, right? Who knows? Anyway, coming back to our main question, right? We just only did 10 launches of their total 35 launches. They listed, just for the complete analysis, to be fully transparent about the Trustswap Launchpad, they listed 16 launches themselves, of which I would say the majority did really well, right? Specifically looking at ROI, not at all-time highs, because again, for you to sell at the all-time high, unlikely, right? These launches, so let's say the bottom 4 with vesting, are not really that interesting. They listed 16 out of 35. These are the top, right? This one is still profitable, but not as much, right? It's very, very little. So that would mean that the other 19 that they have not listed, I assume, so that's just an assumption I'm making, have not been profitable. And that's also something to take into consideration, because I couldn't find a track record of the actual Trustswap Launchpad, except for the category that I showed you. So when you go to categories here, and you type in Trustswap, then you get a Trustswap Launchpad. So these are all the tokens that Trustswap has launched, and there are 28 total that are being tracked. Maybe some are new, maybe some are not indexed yet, maybe some were delisted or whatever. So the difference between 35 and 28, that makes sense. But they listed their top launches right here, of which this one is about break even. So I assume the other 10 would then not be profitable, which means that we now made an analysis of which includes two dead projects, right? So 20%. If we would take that into consideration, the other 10, it would become 40%. I don't have the time in this video, unfortunately, to research those projects that have been wiped away, and which ones those are exactly. But according to this top 10, individually picked, according to CoinMarketCap and not to Trustswap, yes, this is profitable. Would I invest in Trustswap? No. Why not? Because I don't do lottery. I want guaranteed allocation. I want high allocation. I'm not going to stake for 60 days. That's not my thing. In addition to this, I have questions, many questions about those other 10 launches and how those went. Obviously, past performance is no indicator for future results, but for me, my investing strategy, this is important. Is the Trustswap platform profitable? Yes. Am I going to participate? No. I will skip this one. Let me know what you think about Trustswap in the comments down below. If you appreciate this content and you want to see more launchpads, how profitable they are, maybe more transparent launchpads, hit that playlist on the right hand side of the screen, which has a full overview of all the launchpads that I have reviewed based on their profitability. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.